The accommodation has changed in the sense that we have put in protocols. We have put in protocols in the properties, as in like the first one is that there are not as many tenants assigned to properties anymore. Where before we would have a certain maximum capacity that was reduced to try and help tenants feel a bit more comfortable in the property. That would have been one of the first changes that we did by lessening, like we would have a lot of twin rooms that were used for two tenants, and many of those rooms were adapted to be offered just to single tenants. In that way, it would make the overall amount of tenants in the property less, which did help with not with social distancing and not having too many people living together. In general, for students still open to shared accommodation, I would say yes. I mean, over the last 7 months since this begun, there's been very little talk from tenants about nervousness about sharing with other tenants. I still think that despite the pandemic, tenants do still want that experience of living and sharing, like the experience with other people. Although now it's done in a different way, we would still be sharing the common areas, but a lot of tenants would be in their rooms a lot more because a lot of them now are working or studying from home. So now many of them would actually be more kind of in their room and they wouldn't be maybe using the common areas as much. But if they still want to have a dinner together or spend some time together, they can meet in the common areas. And so students, yes, I'm sure are still open to shared accommodation because it does enhance their experience overall. Obviously, when you're living with a pandemic, there's a lot more other questions that you have to answer. But the tenants for the last 7 months have been quite happy to be together, and it does always improve their stay than rather than living alone. They still have the option to meet people from other countries, other cultures, and be able to share the experience, and to even to be able to share this experience of the pandemic because it's quite new to everybody on how to live and interact and to continue maybe some sort of a social life or social interaction with COVID-19. And I feel that our tenants have done that and they've learned how to live together, but also be safe together in the one environment.
The big one at the moment is that certain countries have to quarantine. And so the accommodation partners that have taken the time to put in a full policies in regards to that, to be able to support students. So whilst they're there, how do they get food, for example? Are they aware of the rules and so on? So that's definitely been one part of things. In some ways, the other part is just the same, is that if you get the quarantining right and the residences or homestays are taking it seriously, they're providing spaces that people can be in, but make sure they're socially distanced or they're shutting down those spaces. It's how do we make those areas as enjoyable as they were before without obviously compromising the safety. And it's obviously a balancing act. We can't pretend for a second it's exactly the same as it was before. But by working with the providers that take it seriously, I think it's quite easy to provide a service that is good for people. And we've had some very positive feedback so far. We've only been open since the 7th of September, so we haven't had that many people staying in residences or homestays. But I think there's such a will. People are coming here because they really want to study in the UK. They want to study in an environment with international students. They want to make friends. They want to go out. And I think people are very adaptable, and the residences provide a platform for that. So they're all, again, about hygiene factors, making sure people are safe and secure. And after then, people do the rest.